about the dirty business of religion.
Oh, that's right.
And the greedy pastors gone wild.
Oh, pastors gone. Welcome to the closing table with the Money Guys, Sidney Young and Jared Parrish. This episode is being brought to you by Allura Financial, AlluraFinancial.com, your source for real estate investment funding. Now, presenting the Money Guys.
All right. We are back. The closing table with the Money Guys. I'm Sidney Young.
And Jared Parrish.
We're Money Guys. We got
Yo
money. Man, we sort of take a hiatus there, didn't we?
Yeah, summer vacation, man.
He went on vacation. We got busy. Everything came up, but we're back. This is being brought to you, as it says right there, Allura Financial, AlluraFinancial.com. Yeah, we practiced a little. But, you know, we took like, I guess, a 3-week vacation.
Yep.
Away from doing
podcasts.
Well,
I mean, not only vacation, but I mean, we got pretty busy. We got tied up, and sometimes just don't have the money to do it all. I mean, don't have the time to do it all.
I mean, it was we've been swamped with the cash out refis, with all the new purchases. We got some fix and flips in. We're wholesaling. We just got so much going on, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and plus with the Texas heat that we've been having, it's not fun to do a podcast all sweaty.
Being brought to you live from downtown Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
it's hotter than a devil's ass crack.
Man,
right
hey, but way up north up there, it's like 117 somewhere.
Yeah, I was in Washington, D.C., and the temperature on my dash was 108.
Damn.
That was hot.
That's hot, man.
Get in the truck, it's like...
What the fuck?
You know, go to AlluraFinancial.com, take a look at us. That's who sponsors our show. We're here to talk to you about money, things about money, money's money, and then their money's money, right?
You know what? Anything that has money, money flows through it, and we're going to figure out, is it going to be educational, is it going to be entertaining, or are we going to be exposing some fuckery?
Usually number 3. Number 3 is more entertaining.
Hell yeah, it is.
You know, today...
I think our most popular ones, it's like, who got arrested?
Misery loves company, man.
Oh, I know.
What's today's show about?
So today, we are talking about the dirty business of religion.
Oh, that's right.
And the greedy pastors gone wild.
Oh, pastors gone wild. You're going straight to hell.
They are not taking their tops off.
He's going straight to the front of the line. Mr. Parrish, yeah, up here. To the left, not the right, to the left.
So, I mean, disclaimer on here, none of this is negative about any particular religion. Mm-hmm. I'm religious myself. I'm not saying that religion is bad. What we're talking about today is exposing the bad within organized religion, to where we've got a number of people that basically kind of got their hand caught in a cookie jar.
They took money over religion.
Yeah, they're like, well, are they doing it for God, or are they doing it for a little bit of the... So, and we're going to be adding in some little clips so you can see that about different people. Now, where this really started was I was going through YouTube, as I usually do, just kind of watching random shit, and I came across David Taylor. Now, we watched that one. It was David Taylor. He was in a deposition.
Yeah.
Going through an IRS audit. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, it started, here, go ahead and take a look real quick. He's talking about $6,000 in Gucci clothes.
Look at this, man. Here we go.
All right, so what is this residential center?
A place that the ministry owns. Well, not owned. We're in the process of buying that. Really, it's a gathering place for our ministry.
You have that as an asset of $2,844,500. So do you own it?
I just answered that. So we didn't own it.
Okay, but where does the...
On November 29th, 2013, JMMI paid over $6,000 to Louis Vuitton.
Traveling and using my clothes, I'm sweating through them. So I'm needing new clothes also for television ministry.
It's out of place.
You don't get taxed on things like that. That's for me.
So June 2014, we spent $3,500 by JMMI to Versace in the Bahamas. 2013 and 14, JMMI spent over $30,000 in new clothes. 2014, you went to the Gucci store in Troy and purchased. You paid $1,000 to Monsieur Clothing in New York.
You testified at your last deposition that JMMI owns 3 vehicles, a BMW, a Mercedes, and a Bentley.
Almost $50,000 to limo land.
That was to cut the Mercedes into a limo.
2013, there's over $6,000 worth of charges for the Disney Resort Hotel. And that's for the poor and the sick and all that. Isn't it a little offensive to be driving around in a Bentley?
It probably wasn't enough.
All right. Did you see that?
God
I need
bless.
$6,000 in wardrobe.
Right?
You know?
It's because I sweat a lot, and it looks better. I love
You
that.
ain't
How,
seen my fat ass sweat.
right? I love how she said, she's like, well, I don't see any receipts on here from Macy's. He's like, oh no, Macy's doesn't have the suits I wear. It's like, oh, okay.
Hey, at least he's finally being honest,
That's
right?
better than the Goodwill suits that I have. So.
And then they need the limousine for their special guest.
Oh yeah, when I entertain.
You need that. So, but anyway, so this is the type of stuff we're talking about today. We gave you a sample of it there.
Yes, and we've got a couple of more little snippets that you're going to like throughout the show. So just kind of review it for nonprofit guidelines for churches. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the details, but I mean, and they've got a tax exempt status. So all the money that they bring in, tax exempt. Now a lot of people want to say, hey, I don't have to pay taxes on it, so we could buy whatever the hell we want as long as the church owns it. Well, you have to really justify it all. So the way it works is churches' net earnings may not be paid out to a private entity. Okay, so private shareholders or individuals. If it's paid out to someone, then it's considered income. They're paying them for something, right? So they can't just basically reallocate it to a private industry. They must not provide a substantial benefit to private interests. So, for instance, if there's a large company that also has a church that has tax exempt status, they can't funnel the money through it. All tax exempt organizations must maintain books of accounting to justify their claim for exemption in the event of an audit. In other words, they need to have specific records where all their money goes. Okay. Now, a lot of people are pissed off that churches have a tax exempt status anyway. I don't really agree with a tax exempt status for churches because so many churches take advantage of it. There's a lot of greed and a lot of corruption. But I mean, that debate.
I think there's more churches that don't take advantage of it than ones that do, obviously. So it has its validity somewhat.
I mean, like I said, debate for another day.
Sure.
It's just difference of opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a hill I'm going to die on.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just uneducated opinion at that point.
Well, give us some folks here.
So we got number 6. We've got Randy and Paula White. The White's ministry brings in millions each year, and they own $1 million homes across the country. I mean, more than one. That's because God wants them to live there. They also have a place in Trump Tower.
Do they really?
Yeah. Now, the couple has been under constant scrutiny for mismanagement of church funds, and they recently got divorced, furthering complicating matters for the ministry. At last check, they also failed to provide the Senate with all requested records. Uh-oh.
That ain't going to go well.
You can't do that. In order to maintain tax exempt status, you have to show your records. Because think about the people that are donating to them.
What church is it?
The White's ministry.
Oh, the White's ministry. Never heard.
And so with them, I mean, with any big church, I mean, think about the people who are donating. A lot of them, lower income. They're giving, they're tithing their $10 to $20 when they go to church.
Yeah,
and they're just raking it in, and they got their private jets. They've got multiple $1 million homes.
Dude, now on a legitimate level, not a scheme or anything. I'm not even going to insinuate that. Here in Houston, Lakewood Church is huge. They probably bring in over $500,000 on a weekend.
Yeah. Now here's one little caveat about Joel Osteen and the Lakewood Church, because a lot of people have been accusing him of the same things. You've got a private jet, you've got a multi-million-dollar home, you've got all this other stuff. None of that actually comes from the church.
Oh, from his book sales.
From his book sales and public speaking. So he makes, I believe his salary from the church is $450,000 a year.
Wow!
But he has 100% of that donated back to the church.
Really?
Yeah. So all his private jets, or private jet, I believe, $1 million homes, his lucrative lifestyle, all of it is generated from his book sales. So you can't really.
I've read his book.
Burn them on.
Believe it or not, I don't read a whole lot of books. I've read his.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It was a good book.
How did that make you feel?
Well, Dr. Phil.
Yeah, honestly, Joel Osteen, as far as a pastor,
Yeah.
I don't really care for him all that much. But I think
Great motivator.
He's a great motivational speaker. I think he's a good speaker in general.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kudos to him. And I'm actually glad that he's getting it in the private world.
Yeah.
I mean, using the stage to bring himself to popularity,
Sure.
which is fine. But he's making his money and paying his taxes.
The concept, because you're a preacher, you have to live poor. I don't agree with that at all.
I don't agree with it totally, no.
Let him thrive. He deserves it.
Yeah. But I like the way he's obtaining his wealth, you know. So, anyway, like I said, difference of opinions.
Sure.
Number 5, we've got Mr. Eddie Long.
Eddie Long, not Big Ed.
Yeah, see his picture right there.
Oh, look at Big Ed.
So-
He's ugly, too.
According to Eddie Long, Jesus wasn't broke. That's what he said. And leaders of churches shouldn't be either. Long has earned millions in salary from his ministry, owns a $1 million home on a 20-acre lot. Must be nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Jesus wanted him to have that. He has use of $350,000 Bentley. And
wow.
pulls in a host of other benefits along, too. Long was also in the group of televangelists who refused to give the Senate the information they requested of the ministry. Senator Grassley, the leader of the investigation, said, "When I hear about leaders of charities being provided a $300,000 Bentley to drive around in, my fear is that it's the taxpayers who subsidize this charity who are really being taken for a ride." That there's a lot said in that, because not only is it, you know, hardworking Americans that are going to the church and donating the money, a lot of them being poor, especially the televangelists, you know, because one of the things you hear from televangelists all the time, which I've always heard, is you gotta give. You gotta give. If you give $10, you can get $100, $1,000 in return.
The Church of Paris, right
Yeah,
here.
I swear. I mean, if I didn't believe in God, I'd probably be a wonderful televangelist.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so you've got, you know, lower income earners that are donating all these millions of dollars, because I mean they're getting it from hundreds of millions of people. And when they buy these vehicles, there's taxes paid on the vehicles, taxes paid here, but they're getting it all tax exempt because it's going through the church. So once again, like I said, they're like, oh hey, we could buy anything as long as this church owns it, and you don't pay any sales tax on that either. So you don't pay any tax on when you get the money, you don't pay any sales tax on the shit that you buy. And that's where I start to have different issues with churches. Now, like you said, you're probably right. There's probably more legitimate churches out there, but those legitimate churches are more than likely not bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars.
No, they're not. They're not.
You know, there are a lot of ministers that it's really just a part-time job for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're in small towns.
They're plumbers or on the side. One of them, I knew one was a mayor of a little town, also a preacher.
And I mean, and those are cool. But yeah, it's when they have.
I know a
these-
divorce attorney. It's a preacher.
Really? So he actually officiates the wedding and then helps them split up?
Yeah.
That's a smart business move right there. He's like, nah, I give this 6 months.
Here's my card.
Right? But yeah, but my thing is when you see these giant megaplex churches, it's like the Walmart of church.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, something's going on. I don't really care for it. Anyway, number 4. How would you pronounce that? Creflo?
Yeah, that's something like that.
Creflo Dollar? Mr. Dollar. Pastor Dollar.
Pastor
Dollar.
That even starts out wrong. I'm Pastor Dollar. Oh,
Yeah.
no, you're not.
Go ahead and pass the dollar. Which he probably does.
He probably does.
Yeah. So Pastor Dollar was another televangelist who ignored
Yes.
the Senate's Senate's request for probes into financial records.
You ain't probing my record.
Right? No, not there.
Now he's sitting where they're probing him all right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's probably not enjoying that one too much. Dollar claimed he was concerned about the privacy of his donors. Bullshit. And he said that if the IRS requested it, he would send it over. However, since it was Congress asking for the information, he wouldn't do so without a subpoena. His church made $69 million back in 2006.
How would they survive?
I know, right?
Poor
That's
things.
it. Oh, these poor guys. Bless their baby heart. God bless them. And the church also provided him with a Rolls Royce of all vehicles.
Yep.
It's probably because the gas mileage.
You better
something
gas
like that.
mileage,
Or
yeah.
he's safer in that. They're built like tanks.
That's right.
My fear is that the text. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get in Dollar's word. Just because it or his life is excessive doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong.
No.
Can't we all just get along?
Word to Rodney King.
I know, right? Now it's funny that he mentions in this that he didn't want to disclose the names of his donors. He wanted to protect that privacy, which I call total bullshit on that.
I'm glad he protected me.
I do have a little side story about that, though.
Oh, shit.
It's rather interesting.
Is it long?
No, not really. So a guy went to church, and now obviously he heard the story from a friend of a friend. And it's a local Texas church too. A guy went to church, and he says, you go to church on Sunday. Are the banks open on Sunday?
No.
No. So he goes up to the pastor and says, hey, the churches are closed. Would you mind cashing a check for me? He goes, no, that's fine, because he's a small town.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows everybody. He goes,
Yeah.
no, your check's fine, yeah. So he wrote a $1,000 check, and and the church cashed it for him.
Oh.
Well, next Sunday comes around,
Yeah.
and he tells the pastor again, he goes, hey, it's Sunday, would you mind cashing a check for me? He goes, no, I don't mind, that's fine. So he cashed another check. A couple weeks later, not only is he doing it, but there's about 4 or 5 other people saying, hey, would you mind cashing these checks for me? Turns out they were writing those checks off as donations to the church and taking them as a tax write-off. So, as creative as that was, I thought
There's creative financing 101.
Yes.
Now, look at that.
Man, I think we've got time
We
for
do.
someone.
Who should have been creative because they are no longer in business. We're right back.
He's going computer crazy with an incredible selection of home computers and computer software. Atari, Texas Instruments, Commodore, Xerox. Crazy Eddie's got them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. Shop around, get the best prices you can find on computers, then go to Crazy Eddie and he'll beat them. Crazy Eddie's going computer crazy. Now's the time to get the home computer you've always wanted. Crazy Eddie, his computer prices are insane. If you're looking for a home computer, go to see Crazy Eddie now, because Crazy Eddie's greatest computer sale ever is on right now with prices that are insane.
Welcome back. Close the table with the money guys. Now, if they had just went to church, they'd probably still be in business.
Right? You got to pray about it.
You got to pray.
Because, if you donate $10, you can get $1,000 back.
Oh my
You got
God.
to give.
We're going straight. We got a long drive home today. I hope we make it. 'Cause
A lot of lightning out there. Now, once again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with religion. I think religion's a good thing. I think it does provide a lot of a moral guideline for many people,
Absolutely.
and I believe in God and I have all that. But where I'm making fun of all this, and I hope everyone really understands this, is we're making fun of the fakers, the scam artists, the con artists.
You know what really gets me? I know
What
the
gets you?
pastors do this and get busted and go to jail. It's the followers. Are they that brainwashed?
Yes. Well, the people, the followers, are people who are down on their luck and they want that feeling of divine help and that God's listening to them. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. Now, these preachers are so good. They're wonderful speakers. You got to hand it to them.
Oh,
man.
yeah. They're
These
great
guys,
salespeople.
They are. They're awesome.
Yeah.
But they're selling the wrong thing. So I used to work in a church when I was going to college for audio
Were
engineering.
you an altar boy?
No.
You got a religious...
There were no altar boys. This was this wasn't a church that I really wanted to attend. I was in college. I was going for audio
Did
engineering.
the deacon touch you?
No, he didn't.
Sorry, keep going.
And he didn't touch me emotionally or spiritually or physically. So while I was going to college, audio engineering, and they needed an audio engineer to run sound for the band. I was like, all right, cool. Well, they didn't even have a church. They rented out the ballroom at the Tremont Hotel in Galveston.
Ah, the haunted Tremont.
Yes, the haunted one. And it was haunted with scam artists back then. And this guy, Pastor Rusty. Pastor Rusty.
I like you.
And I'm not going to say the name of the church, but they had a congregation of probably 70 people. And they would collect $3,000-$4,000 a weekend.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah. And now think about it. Every week,
Ooh.
tax-free, the Tremont Hotel is donating the room.
Oh,
So
basically,
you start putting two and two
Yeah.
together. Plus, he did church at his house on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
of course.
And pass the plate. Now, typically they would pass the plate like 2, 3, 4 times. It's
Of
like, well, I thought
course.
you only passed this thing like once. But anyway, he would show up all the time, and for one, dressed the nines. He had a different Rolex every time. Wife dressed the nines. He had like a Mercedes SUV. She had a BMW SUV. I mean, they were living lavishly, and that was his big thing. He always, every Bible verse that he would talk about, he always turned it into, you gotta give.
I like him.
You gotta give. And I was like, man. So they didn't want to pay me after I worked there for a while. They were like, no, we're not gonna pay you. I'm like, well, but you owe me for all. And they're like, no.
You see, I don't like companies that mix religion in the title of their company. Christian Associates.
Yeah.
We're
There's a bunch
godly
of Christian
people.
car lots too.
Oh, all over.
God saves, buy here, pay here lots.
Well, speaking
Yeah.
of those that went to jail, who else we got?
So next one on the list, we've got. We didn't talk about Kenneth Copeland yet. So we got Kenneth Copeland.
Oh, that guy.
Yes. So despite being under investigation, Kenneth Copeland refused to submit financial information about his ministry, saying, you can go get a subpoena and I won't give it to you. It's not yours. It's God's.
This is the guy talking to the reporter outside the Mercedes, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so he goes, you can get it and that'll be something, but I'll go to prison over it. I'm still not going to give it to you. And yeah, he was talking to the reporter about his jet. Actually, here we're going to cut to that right now.
Watch
You
this.
said that you won't fly commercial. You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, listen to me this thing. Not the people. The main reason is because of the need. If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing.
How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business. I paid. You kind of caught me off guard here, okay?
We don't want to catch you off guard.
Love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listen to me? My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh yeah. Thank you, Lord. Help me. Just, let me pray. Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. We have brought 122 million people to the Lord Jesus Christ. Let me give you another example. Last May, I was scheduled for Lagos, Nigeria. That's a long ways. I had a week off, and I was scheduled for Peru. And I prayed about it, and I thought, without the airplane that we have that I bought from Tyler Perry, and I didn't pay anywhere. Tyler's one of the greatest guys. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it. Give me a chance here, Inside Edition. I love your eyes. And here's what happened. 70 hours, 40,000 miles, touched 5 continents, and preached face-to-face personally with 125,000 people.
Do you ever use your private jets to go visit your vacation homes, for example?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Wow,
Oh, my
look at that.
God.
That's arrogance, man. That is nothing but arrogance.
You know what? As far as artistry goes, I mentioned that to you.
You
I was
see
like,
where he rephrased it?
yes.
Returned it around?
I mean, at the beginning, he was discombobulated. He was trying to collect his words. But once he got in his groove, he could spin like
Dude,
a
that
politician.
is a sales
man.
training class right there.
I know. And how he just kept changing it. He's like, I love Inside Edition. I love Inside Edition.
I like your eyes.
Yeah,
Look at
you
your
have beautiful eyes. And at the end, how he prays with her. All right, we're going to pray. It's like, oh,
Well,
my
let me
God.
get back in my $140,000
Yeah.
Mercedes right here.
Yeah, and we talk about his jet that he bought from Tyler Perry. God, he's like, he made it so cheap for me, I had to buy it. Oh my God!
So what happened to Uncle Kenny?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing happened. I mean, he was investigated. I think he had to pay some penalties, something like that. But yeah,
Uncle Kenny's
none of
free?
these people went to jail.
Dude, are you serious?
Yes, none of them went to jail.
I didn't know that.
It's crazy. So next on the list, we've got Joyce Meyer. Since 1999, Joyce Meyer's ministry has spent at least $4 million on 5 homes for Miss Meyer and her children. Meyer's house is a 10,000 square foot home with an 8-car garage, a large fountain, a gazebo, a private putting green, a pool, and a pool house with a $10,000 bathroom. Her salary was reported at $900,000 back in 2003, and she also enjoys the use of a private jet and luxury cars, all owned by the church.
Of course.
Needless to say, Meyer has been questioned for years, and she is once again under investigation by the government for possibly, not saying that she did, but possibly violating the nonprofit laws. Think there's some fuckery going on.
Dude, don't the IRS go after every one of these?
They try. But once again, there's black and white
fines.
There's black and white rules.
Yeah.
And even though they get investigated, they go to these depositions, and their lawyers fight for them. They're like, "Hey, this is something that the church was using, even though you may think that it's excessive, it's the church that's using it."
Yeah.
And if the church is using it and it's owned by the church, it's still covered under these protections. So regardless of it being a lavish lifestyle or not, it's really not.
So whether it's a 77 Toyota or a brand new Bentley, it's still legal.
Yeah, I mean that all falls into those laws. So even though these people go to court and go through all this shit, nothing ever really happens to them unless they can prove that they've legitimately been doing something wrong. So like there have been a few that have been accused of cults and child trafficking and things like that. Now those are different. That's going to prison.
That is cults.
Yeah, and those get prosecuted on more of a criminal level. But yeah, a lot of these people, I mean, even though they're living large, it's still covered. I mean, because they've got their CPAs and attorneys making sure that it keeps their ass out of prison.
Right.
So before we get on to our number one spot, we've got someone who got caught on the pot and had to lose it all.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Ladies and gentlemen, Old Bear here. Not that bear, this one. It's the greatest sale on earth this Sunday and Monday only at all Superior Waterbed showrooms. Free hot dogs, free Cokes, and a shower of savings on the world's largest selection of waterbeds. The greatest sale on earth Sunday and Monday only at Superior Waterbeds. You'll sleep like a baby on a Superior waterbed.
All right. If they'd have just been doing what they should have been doing when they was doing it, they wouldn't have done it.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. They're no longer in business.
All
Welcome back.
Number one on our greedy pastors going wild, we've got Benny Hinn. You remember Benny Hinn?
Benny Hill, I love him,
Not
man.
Benny Hinn.
No.
I love that. No, Benny Hinn. So this is
Benny
the guy,
Hinn, yeah.
Yeah. So
he wore like the collarless.
the collarless was. He was real tan. Oh, here's a picture right here.
There he is.
But for those listening on the audio podcast, you can also find all of our podcasts on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. So
But
you can watch
Benny,
the video.
Benny was first class, man. Or is.
Oh, he came out. He talked to everyone.
Yes.
And he did the faith healing thing.
No, yeah.
Those piss me off.
Uncle B?
All of the
Any of
faith
them involve
healers.
snakes?
No, he didn't. He didn't do snakes, but he would have like people walk up in droves, and he's like swatting them with his coat and just healing them all. And it's like,
How much
really?
that shit's real?
None.
Oh.
None of it. None of it.
You know.
I mean, some people. For one, a lot of the faith healers, it's like a David Copperfield act. It's set up.
I actually went to a church, and I'm not going to say where, and people were passing out, and I'm going, and they would catch them. They had people set their whole job was to catch the pastor outers. Seriously,
The pastor outers.
Yeah, and they'd lay on the carpet, and I'm thinking, shouldn't someone call an ambulance if they passed out legitimately?
Right.
That's a conscious
She's
thing.
bleeding out of her ear, people. He just comes over with his coat. Oh, the bleeding will stop. Praise Jesus. And it's like, I've seen they did faith
So it
healing.
made me think I needed to pass out, but I didn't.
Right? Well, and I would say, oh, yeah, I can feel the anointing. I can feel the man. All of that's mumbo jumbo. Like the church that I worked at, they did faith healing, And they were talking about curing cancer and curing broken bones and curing all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, miracles happen. That happens. But this stuff, bullshit.
I think that the church has some professional pastor outers.
Oh yeah.
You know, they have the professional pastor outer catchers and the pastor outers.
Well, the funny thing is I love this on the pastor outers. I even mentioned this to one of the guys at the church that I used to work with, because they would have people that would pass out, and they're just like, "Oh, she's got the spirit in her." I'm like, "Oh God." I said, now the funny thing is there she is, passed out on the floor, right? But if you pick up her hand and drop it over her face, she's gonna pull it away. They ain't passing out; they're faking
standards,
it.
you know.
It's fake. Anyway, Benny Hinn is known around the world for his large healing crusades. His television show airs in over 100 countries, and during this time as a televangelist, Hinn claims that he has seen people get healed from cancer, crippling diseases, and he even says that he has seen a dead man resurrected. That'd scare the shit out of me. Be like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Here's your watch back. Sorry, I didn't mean to take it off yet.
All right.
Didn't think you need it anymore.
You can take the gurney back outside, guys. You're good. So while building his following, Hinn has earned
how much?
Quite a bit of money along the way. It gets into it. Yeah. His ministry collects more than $200 million every year.
Jeez.
And he's admitted to his salary being over $500,000 a year. Now that's just the salary portion.
Pretty good.
But think about all the shit that the church pays for, so like $1 million houses, stuff like that. So anyway, so he gets paid $500,000 a year from the church, which he pays taxes on. Good for him. God bless. Hinn owns a private jet, lives in a $10 million house near the Pacific Ocean. Stays in hotel rooms that cost thousands each night.
Of course.
And owns luxury vehicles. I'm sure he doesn't own all this shit. I'm sure the church is buying all of it.
Bless you, my son.
Yes, God bless. His lavish lifestyle was first exposed by Dateline NBC, and it's now under investigation by the Senate. And once again, I guarantee you that nothing is going to happen to this guy.
Oh, of course not. You know,
it's not. I mean, as long as they follow their rules, regardless of it being lavish.
Yeah.
As long as like the luxury vehicles. Now, if he gets to, let's say for instance they have a Rolls Royce and the church says he can use it. If he uses it for personal use, he does have to include a value in that, like a stipend, as part of his salary. As long as he's doing that and paying taxes on that, he's got no worries. Now, if he only uses it for church stuff, he gets to use it for free, no taxes, no taxes charged. Same thing with the jet and everything else.
God said I need to go get groceries at the store.
Yes, I bought the groceries for God. Now God was going to heal my hunger.
He going straight to hell.
Yeah, I know.
These guys, like I said, I didn't know no one here went to prison. I thought someone stayed in jail time. I guess not.
No, man, and that's the thing. I mean, as long as you get the right attorney, man, you can get out of everything.
There was a guy.
Look at OJ.
There was a guy in Houston just in the past couple of months that embezzled millions from a church, and they ended up sending him to prison. And it made the news that his prison day has started.
Yeah, well, see, and that's one thing. That's embezzlement.
Yeah.
And that's when they can prove it.
Yeah.
But a lot of these really big churches that are very well organized and have hundreds of millions of dollars, they get the right CPAs that set up the programs to be able to funnel all the money and can justify everything. And that's what's keeping these guys out of prison. I just wish more people knew about it. Like me, myself, I don't go to church anymore. I can have my own relationship with God at home, talk to God on a daily basis. But, you know, a lot of people need that fellowship. They need to go, and that's fine. There's a lot of great churches out there.
And God has told you out there, go to Allure Financial, allurefinancial.com.
Disclaimer, he really didn't.
Okay, maybe he did though. Call us. We're definitely interested in talking to you about your real estate investment needs.
So all of their, even if it's not religious.
This has been Closing Table Money Guys. I'm Sidney Young.
And Jared Parrish.
We're the Money Guys. We got
your money.